Hello, everyone. My name is Juber Ayala, and I'm the archivist for the New Jersey Hispanic Research and Information Center at the Newark Public Library. Thank you for tuning in this week's NPL at Home program. Today, I'll be discussing the Dr. Hilda Hidalgo button collection, available on our digital collections website, digital.npl.org. I'll provide some biographical information on Dr. Hidalgo, introduce the digital site, and highlight some of the fascinating buttons in her collection. Before we get started, I wanted to encourage you all to fill out your census forms. Filling out the census is one small but very important thing everyone can do right now to help our city and our communities. If you haven't done so yet, please go to my2020census.gov and fill out the brief questionnaire. The information you provide affects funding for healthcare, transportation, your local schools, and many other needs. Remember, my2020census.gov. It is safe, secure, and confidential. Dr. Hilda Hidalgo was a community activist, LGBT advocate, educator, social worker, and Rutgers professor. She was born in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico in 1928. By the age of 16, she had graduated from high school and completed 1 year of undergraduate study. After receiving her first master's degree, Dr. Hidalgo worked as the district director of the Girl Scout Council of Greater Essex, New Jersey, from 1960 to 1965. During this time, Dr. Hidalgo made it her mission to offer scouting opportunities to girls in urban areas from minority communities. This was when Dr. Hidalgo experienced discrimination because of her ethnicity, gender, and race for the very first time. During the 1960s in Newark, Dr. Hidalgo co-founded Aspira Inc. of New Jersey, La Casa de Don Pedro, the Puerto Rican Congress of New Jersey, the United Community Corps, and the Newark Urban League. In 1969, she joined the Rutgers faculty as an assistant professor. 2 years later, she successfully defended her dissertation titled Ay Bendito. At Rutgers Newark, she co-founded 2 very important master's programs to train Hispanic professionals. Dr. Hidalgo helped shape the curriculum and secure funding for these programs from external sources. The programs were the experimental MSW for bilingual, bicultural Hispanics, and the NPL program for Hispanic administrators. This is just a very brief introduction to her life's many accomplishments. If you would like to learn more, I welcome you to browse through her archival finding aid, as well as read the article by Elizabeth Parker, where she highlights Dr. Hidalgo's importance to Latino studies, as well as to the historical narrative of New Jersey and the United States. Here's the cover and link to her article, published by the Garden State Legacy magazine. You can access our digital collections at digital.npl.org. We are currently in transition from our previous platform on Content DM to Islandora, so please bear with us while we continue to make updates to our website. A few years ago, we received a very generous grant from the Carnegie Corporation to digitize collections regarding the African American Great Migration and the Latino immigrant-migrant experience in Newark. To begin searching for materials, you can browse by resource type here on the left-hand side. You can also conduct keyword searches. And you can also browse by NPL collections. Since we're looking at a specific collection, I'll go ahead and click Browse NPL Collections. This page gives us 3 other divisions within Special Collections: the Charles F. Cummings New Jersey Information Center, the New Jersey Hispanic Research and Information Center, and the Special Collections Department. I'll go ahead and click the link for the HRIC. We currently have 13 collections that are digitized, and we hope to expand upon that number. They are currently sorted by alphabetical order. And I'll go ahead and click on the Hilda Hidalgo button collection. Here's a short description of the button collection, as well as links to other resources. You can find the oral history of Hilda within the Latino Oral History collection, as well as a copy to her dissertation, Ay Bendito. And Dr. Hilda Hidalgo was a columnist for the Information newspaper published by the city of Newark. As I scroll down, you can see thumbnails for the buttons within her collection. You can also refine your search by subject toppings, by form, and by the dates created. I'll go ahead and click on the button. Here's a picture on the button. You can zoom in, zoom out, rotate. This icon here lets you download an image. And towards the bottom, you can see information that describes the button. You can see subject tags, measurements, the collection that it originates from, and the dates. If you would like to consult the finding aid, you can use the breadcrumbs here on the top and click on the Hilda Hidalgo button collection. This takes you back to the description. And here's the link to the finding aid. This takes you to Newark Public Library, libraryhosts.com, where we have all of our archival finding aids. You can click here on collection organization. Scroll down to memorabilia. Series A. And here's the button collection. The Dr. Hidalgo button collection contains 96 pinback buttons, only 2 of which are duplicates. The collection is the product of the numerous activities and campaigns that she was involved in or supported. The buttons also reflect Dr. Hidalgo's sense of humor and the musicians she enjoyed. I photographed these buttons in 2014, so it's been interesting to see the transition of how the buttons have been displayed, starting from an appendix in a finding aid to uploading these photographs on a digital collection platform, and now presenting them today on Zoom. Technology can change a lot in 6 years. Elizabeth Parker, a former associate archivist, conducted extensive research on these buttons. To increase their accessibility, she tagged the buttons with various subject headings. The finding aid includes a chart listing all of the buttons' subject headings, as well as the number of buttons tagged with that particular subject. Most of the buttons have multiple subject headings. For this presentation, I'll group the buttons highlighting only one of them. You can locate the finding aid at Newark Public Library, libraryhost.com. And now to kick off the buttons, our first subject is libraries. This first button was created by Ingrid Betancourt, now Assistant Director for Special Collections and co-founder of the NJHRIC. Here at the Newark Public Library, tenemos la respuesta, which translates to, we have the answer. The second button is from the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College. The center has an archival component which documents the Puerto Rican diaspora in the United States. They also have a button collection, and you can browse their digital collection at centralpr.hunter.cuny.edu. Social justice is the most tagged subject heading with 33 buttons. This one is one of my personal favorites from the collection. No one is free when others are oppressed. The author of this quote is unknown. Practice random kindness and senseless acts of beauty. This was written by Ann Herbert and is based on the phrase, random acts of violence and senseless acts of cruelty. So 59 cents refers to the amount women earned for every dollar earned by a man in 1963 when the Equal Pay Act was passed. According to Quick Facts About the Gender Wage Gap by Robin Bleiweiss, women of all races earned, on average, just 82 cents for every $1 earned by men of all races. While taking into account ethnicity and race, white women earned 79 cents to every dollar earned by white men. Black women earned 62 cents, and Latinas earned 54 cents to every dollar earned by white men. While the wage gap is a serious issue, there's also some lighthearted humor in the button collection. As you can see in this button, women who seek to be equal to men lack ambition. LGBT advocacy is the second most tagged subject heading. Last week's NPL at Home featured Tom Ankner, who gave a tour on the digital collections, LGBTQ resources, and presented a few LGBTQ themed buttons from this collection. I encourage you all to check out his program. The new right is the old wrong. This button is from the Now NJ Lesbian Rights Task Force. Newark, New Jersey is also represented in the collection as Dr. Hidalgo worked and lived in Newark. Newark students are a success. As a Newark student myself, I can say we sure do. Here is a button from Junius Williams' campaign against incumbent Newark Mayor Ken Gibson in 1982. In 2018, Junius Williams was named official Newark historian. He is the producer of RiseUpNewark.com, an interactive digital archive that collects the stories of resistance in the North. A profile of Dr. Hidalgo is featured on the website. Puerto Rican culture and Latino advocacy are the last two subject headings for today. Many buttons in its collection prominently feature the Puerto Rican flag. It was considered a felony to display the Puerto Rican flag in public on the island up until 1952. The flag is a symbol of cultural pride and protest. Somos Puertorriqueños donde quiera. This has the shape of the continental United States inside the island of Puerto Rico. This button, Puerto Rican Power, has a nice simple design to it. The Second Puerto Rican Convention of 1971 is our last button. Some of these buttons can be cross-referenced to other materials within Dr. Hidalgo's papers. There is a gavel in the memorabilia series, as well as a folder with documents in box 1 from this particular convention. If a button has corresponding archival material, the information will be in the notes section of the metadata. The Puerto Rican Community Archives also has two other button collections donated by lawyer Antonio Arocho and poet Dimitri Reyes. Antonio, Tony Arocho, is a business and nonprofit lawyer with substantial litigation experience and an active community member. He served as Assistant Attorney General in the Virgin Islands Department of Justice and as Special Assistant to the Delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives from Virgin Islands. Mr. Arocho provided the following statement on why he donated his political buttons collection. It is a great honor that the Puerto Rican Community Archives has included my button collection in its holdings along with my papers. I could not think of a better home for them, for future scholars, students, and researchers to view. Included in my button collection are two buttons that are very dear to me and originally belonged to my late father, Antonio Arocho Hernandez. My father gave me his NAACP and JFK presidential campaign buttons for safekeeping, and he wanted me to preserve them. Now these buttons and others are available to others to view for generations to come. Thank you for preserving our history. I would like to thank Mr. Arocho for donating his papers along with his button collection. Intern Jessica Leonardo photographed and conducted extensive research on the buttons. We hope to upload them on the digital collection website in the coming months. Norda Majiko Donmai states that political buttons are underrepresented in archives. As physical manifestations of political activism, buttons are worthy of collecting and study. I hope that Dr. Hidalgo buttons inspire you to start your own collections. Also, to convince other archivists not to overlook button collections or other ephemeral objects. If they have the resources to provide item-level descriptions for their buttons, it is well worth the time. Thank you for watching this week's NPL at Home program. If you have any questions, please contact us at njhric@npl.org. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. Also, be sure to watch our other virtual programs, such as Spanish Story Times, Community Story Times, ASL classes, and much more. Take care.